Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's You Can't See the Forest for the Teas, or is it the Wrestling Podcast, or is it both? No, it is You Can't See the Forest for the Teas. We've just added into the mix the Getting Over Boys. So it's a super bumper edition of You Can't See the Forest for the Teas, which is nice. There's a video for this, and that video is on YouTube. While you're checking it out on YouTube, you will obviously be clicking the subscribe button because you're a nice person and you want to support the channel like a nice person would. Yeah? Cool. That's good. So here we go. This is CookieCast. You can't see the forest for the teas. And we're off. I mean, this is worlds collide, isn't it? This is when wrestling steps into the ring on the pitch with the football. Like that thing on Netflix. Has anyone seen that? Football meets mixed martial arts. Is it called In the Game or something? It looks amazing. It's basically like two teams. But it's like, you've got to put the ball in the goal whilst getting your head kicked in.
Shit out of each other.
It's like, well, that looks amazing.
You know?
Probably better than 2K20 did, to be fair.
You've not seen that Harry Zeros yet, have you, Paul?
Still not seen it, no.
So they do that in that. It's like football, but basically just like kicking the shit out of each other.
It's football meets MMA. It's bonkers.
Yeah. Lee Entry gets absolutely destroyed by him, but just keeps going.
Is Ruddock on it by any chance?
No, Ruddock's gone for a pacemaker by this point. Literally, so a pacemaker's failed.
Somebody should probably clarify why we're all here. Paul?
Welcome along, everybody. We're back. We're finally back. We've been back for a week, but because the football's back, we thought we'd give you some lovely content. What can I say? So welcome back to You Can't See the Forest for the Teas.
Don't sound too excited, Paul.
It's really so. Isn't it? To be fair, that is exactly how I feel about football at this point in time. So he's hit the nail on the head for me.
That's like my permanent underlying state about football, and then this kind of gentle ebbs up and down away from the line kind of thing. It's like, I can't feel shit about it, Oh, I feel less shit about it. Oh, now I feel really shit about it, and kind of. Yeah, it's doing alright for a Forest fan at the moment, Matt.
Well, you missed the discussion the other day, Panas, on which one of out of the three of us has had the worst time, and I put a very, very convincing argument for Forest. I think I might have even won. I think.
Yeah.
Worst time what? In lockdown?
No, that's like 20 years.
In our lifetime, basically.
So over our lifetimes, who's had the worst time for supporting their team? And I was basically saying, well, basically me and Stu have arguably seen the most successful period of either of our clubs. So. We
me and Matt to see the most successful period for our club, but I mean, I was following football when Frank Bartlett was in charge. That was pretty good.
For a year or two.
Yeah, well, I was telling Paul the other day actually that.
So you're happy that you got one or two good years under a guy who came through the Clough system? Wow.
Yeah.
Clark didn't come through the Clough system. He was signed.
He was already like Newcastle captain, like 30-odd-year-old before he was joining Forest, I think.
Yeah, but he played under him, didn't he? So he sort of came through the ranks and stuff in a managerial sense.
No, he left. He left as soon as he finished his playing career, and he was manager at Leyton Orient when we picked him up, I think. He didn't come through like the reserves or the youth teams.
Oh.
His time spent at Forest was brief and successful both as a player and a manager.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was looking back. So
assuming Lamucci doesn't get, because he's signed a new contract, so I'm assuming he's not going to get fired before the end of the season. First choice manager for 9 years to start and finish the season.
We'll give it a couple of weeks.
I think I went back a bit further. Last manager to start and finish 2 seasons consecutively was Frank Clark.
What?
Billy Davis did like 2.5 years, but never 2 full seasons. Because he kept coming back, didn't he? He's been managed like 3 different times, I think.
How about Dave Bassett? Oh yeah, God. I mean that's
never 2 full seasons, and I think Clark only did 3, maybe.
3.5, wasn't it? Because he got sacked, got them promoted, got them into Europe. The season after, mid-table mediocrity, and then relegated the next season. So yeah, 3.5-ish. Then Dave Bassett. Fucking hell.
Is Phil Brownell the longest running manager? Stu?
What was that, sorry?
Is Phil Brown like Hull's longest reigning manager then?
One thing
Taylor was there for a while, wasn't he?
Brucey was there for a while. Taylor was there for a while. Taylor was probably there longer than those two, because he was in charge when it was back-to-back promotions. So he would have been in charge for a little bit before that as well.
Yeah.
Certainly in my memory span, anyway, it would have been him.
Because was he the manager that moved from Boothby to the KC?
Yeah. Because you guys seen that thing that's been going around during lockdown where it's on somebody's Facebook profile where it's just put a picture of a footballer, you're like, no reason, whatever, blah blah blah. Somebody on my friends list today had a picture of Ian Ashby, which obviously was the guy who captained us all the way from the bottom to the top. And I thought it was quite a special moment because it was one of the rare photographs of Ashby without somebody waving a yellow card at him. So it's quite it was like when we used to go all the time, like it was never a proper City game until the yellow card came out for Ashby. Then you knew it was like a game because it was like the whistle for half time, whatever. It's coming at some point. You're just not quite sure whenever the referee decides. So, yeah.
Seriously, the safest bet I ever put on was, I think, in the Champions League final when it was Man United versus Chelsea, and Scholes to get the first booking was 10-1, and I was like, that's just a license to print money there. So I think he went for a 50-50 with MacLeod. He went in hard but got injured, so MacLeod was the first player to stand up. So because he was the first person on his feet, he got booked first. Then as soon as Scholes stood up, he got booked. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
It's almost like they knew that you had the bet on, Paul.
It was just unbelievable. I think I'd even put a 5 on it because I was that confident it was coming in. So I had 50 quid robbed from me.
That was terrible.
I can't remember the last time I won money on a football bet. Long time ago. In fact,
why do you ask Andrew Cook about that? He's the only one who wins football bets around here.
Hello. I love winning money on things that I have very little knowledge about.
He's on. If you caught the podcast last week, you'll know that he's potentially on for a relegation candidates for this season. So, although he won't be too happy about the fact that Barnsley are currently winning, as far as I'm aware. So,
although I'm just looking through last week's scores, and you know.
Oh, don't even get me started, because
bittersweet at the end of the
fuming.
Why?
Fuming. We'll get to it later. So, there's no time like the present. Shall we open up with last week's games?
Oh, please, let's.
Oh God. Because obviously the first game was played on Saturday at 3 p.m, as it should be, as always, of course. And it was the first game in charge of a certain Colin.
Wait, Colin, go on, lad.
And he did a lot better than I thought he was going to do, because I had him down for a 0-0.
Go on then. Tell us all about it, Paul.
Well, what do you have, James? You have a 1-1?
Yeah.
Andy was confident though, weren't you?
Very confident. I had a 1-0 to the mighty Borough.
1-0. So, of the three, Andy was the correct one in that he got the win. However, Middlesbrough went mental and scored twice in a game.
2-0. Unbelievable, Jet.
They've
had 3 months off to practice.
Do you want to just furnish us with
3 months off to practice and then a 3-0 home spanking, Stu. Don't forget that.
Do you want to just tell us who those goal scorers were, Paul?
I can absolutely give you that, Andrew, because the first goal was scored by Ashley Fletcher.
It was, wasn't it?
Certainly was. The second goal, and I'll be amazed if you put this down, was scored by Marcus Tavernier.
Didn't someone have Tavernier though? Or did
I probably had him in a previous life or something like that.
We'll see.
He wasn't getting that much of it. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. Under Woodgate, before the lockdown started, I think he'd had a bit of a run in the team.
In a previous life or in a previous game?
Yeah.
You predicted Tavernier to score last time.
Shame. Was it like a first touch for him or something? He scored very quickly after he got on, didn't he?
He'd not been on for long, but if you've seen the highlights and stuff like that, I don't know what Stoke were doing, because they just backed off and then just went, well, shall I have a strike it? Oh, okay. I thought Butler would have dived for that, but never mind.
So I was looking. So I tried to actually do some research for tonight. Since Stu was going to be on, I thought I'll try and keep up. So I was looking at the lineup. You were giving me the impression that Warnock was just going to play a shit ton of people in defence. Whereas looking at it, 2/3 of the midfield you had, Woodgate played in defence.
By the sounds of it, he played some sort of like weird 4-1-3-2 style system.
Well, it's listed on Sky as a 4.
Because he had the back four, and then he had Howson just in front of the back four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he sort of had, by the sound, maybe it was a 4-3-3, but he had Howson just in front of the back four. Then Saville and
McNair.
I can't even think who it was.
McNair.
Bentner?
McNair.
Yeah, my internet's terrible. Paddy McNair.
Yeah, in which case, it was Bentner. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, I'd forgotten that he played for Forest at the time.
Yeah.
Bentner, yeah.
Loves the red and white shirt, that lad, doesn't he?
Oh my, it's all over the place.
I mean, he was the greatest striker in the world, so obviously he's going to play at Forest right there.
I watched him at Newcastle.
He was the greatest striker at Arsenal at the time.
Doesn't he have a reality TV show now?
That wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's what he is. I think he's a reality TV star now.
Is he the greatest reality TV star, though?
Must be.
Oh. So should we switch on to the Sunday offering?
No.
Go on, James. I'll let you take the lead on that one.
Unless you just want to put a bit of pull in first.
Well, as I mentioned already, can we just gloss over this? It's like, football's not a thing anymore.
We can't gloss over Hull in the next game, though, can we?
No, not entirely.
No.
I went camping Saturday afternoon. I come back and I've looked at the result. I looked at the scores, and I came back in and I was like to my dad, there's been a load of points picked up at the bottom of the championship, haven't they? And I was going through it and he's like, no, Hull didn't win. Like, what?
Yep. So, like, typically, there was a point within the last week where, well, the last 2 weeks, where I said to these guys that I don't think we'll win another game all season, and we'll probably lose by 2 or more goals. So, true to form, neither of those things have now happened. But we're still not winning. We're still not won any games, have we? We're 2-0 up at half time, and just think we thought, nah, we've done enough here. And people are talking about whether or not home and away is a thing at the moment with no crowd, but of course it is. There's still got to travel. It's still in like a different setting and all the rest of it. So I genuinely think at 2-0 they probably thought that was it. We'll just defend, and then we got it back to 2-2. Then decided to pop in I think it was a free kick that was the third, and then it was the same old story. Get to like the last 2 minutes of the match, and then just think, nah, fuck it. We've done it here, and just let in an equaliser. To be fair, I'm surprised they didn't go on to lose. I was looking at the bits and bobs before, and if you said that your team had 12 shots during a match, for City, I'd be quite pleased with that. I thought that was quite a decent effort for them. Only 3 of them were on target, so they scored with everyone that they got on target, but
Jesus Christ! I mean, like the best stat I ever heard was when Borough played Leeds a couple of seasons ago. They beat them 3-0, and they only had 2 shots on target. So,
yeah, like a draw away from home, I should probably let them off the hook a little bit and be a bit more positive about. But it wasn't until your boys did the business on Sunday that we were actually out of the bottom 3, and even then it is by like the proverbial sort of skin of the teeth now at the moment. They're just hanging on. They're getting to the point where they're like that dog that every time you take it to the vet just shows a bit more spark, you get him put down.
Wow.
That's how much it's depressing me at the moment. I just like I mean, we could do a full 2 hours on why the Allen be killing our club, and I could use that analogy all over again. But just unbelievable the way that they've just thrown it away over the last like 3 or 4 years, particularly.
I don't want to alarm anybody, but if anyone can see that.
2-0 to Barnsley.
He's not on my screen, so.
Did you see who's been sent off for Blackburn though?
Brereton.
This is doing the world of good for our audio listeners, Paul.
He was the great Hulk at Forest at one point, wasn't he?
He was a bit hit miss when he got sold. What's your thoughts on that, Matt? Because I know it was a bit 50-50 on Palace. Like, let's have some money and he's not really playing. But then there's like, he is playing for England under 20s or whatever. He's amazing.
It was one of them things where like I've not seen him play very often. So I texted my dad, who'd seen him a few times, and I was like, "What the fuck are they doing? Why are we selling a decent player that's come through the thing?" And the reply was, "He's all right as a substitute, but when he plays a full game, dear God, he's not worth it. So if we can rob them for any money that we can rob them, take it," kind of thing. And I think it was that. I think it was obviously they're kind of moving into a slightly different phase as a club, as relying on youth players coming through is not going to be a massive kind of thing of it. I think it's the kind of, we want to point, whether it actually happens or not, it's the idea is that they're pushing to get promoted, and as a youth team player that's not exceptional like Cash or Worrell, are they going to really make the difference in the club? And I think obviously Lamucci kind of sticks with one up front, so kind of I think it was like take the money and run really. But it seemed I was not impressed at the time, because I thought we're selling him to a rival, we're not selling him for a massive amount. But then
he went on loan to start with, didn't he? So we didn't even get any money to start with.
I think that was just to get him kind of like so they could sign him.
One of those deals where it was like an emergency loan to get it through at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
It was at a time when we didn't have many strikers as well, which was weird. I think it was one of them ones where Graben, for how good he is injury prone. So it's kind of like you need 2 or 3 to back him up, kind of thing. And we signed that. And we signed. No, we haven't quite signed that donkey who they had at the start of the season. The Robert Rosario Andre Salenzi Memorial Trophy. No, because it was last season he went. And I mean, that's the thing. He's not really kind of pulled up any trees, as it were.
We had what's his face, didn't we, when we got rid of him? Who was the old fellow that come from Ipswich? I forgot, his name escapes me now. He signed for Bolton on the free earlier in the year.
Darryl Murphy?
Murphy, yeah, we had Murphy knocking around at the time.
Murphy was always good, he was just prehistoric, which was just, it was like, oh yeah, if you can get him to like do 20
You just
minutes,
lump it to him, that's like, his old game, isn't it?
But he wasn't a Labucci signing either, was he? He was whoever. That's people.
Warburton?
No, he didn't last. Well, it was Warburton.
I don't know about that. I feel like it was after.
The player,
I think. For a couple of years, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, they signed him on a free, didn't they, in the summer? And yeah, he lasted a couple of seasons, but either got injured or would have a good run in the side, or they just wouldn't be the kind of, just didn't fit. But that was the point where we were going through managers like Underpants. It was he changed every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Probably should get that looked at, Matt, to be fair.
I mean, it's impressive I'd only change them once every 6 months, but... Right, mate. Right.
Have we covered the Forest game yet?
No.
Well, I said you boys, the result from your game pulled us out of the bottom 3 essentially. So, if I suppose should say thank you in a way for making us look less shit, but just again prolonging the agony. So yeah, so in the end, your result, Mr. Panas.
Yeah. So, well, let's go straight in with it then. 3-1, Andy.
It was 3-1, James.
It was.
How many of those 3 or 1 goal scorers can you name? Go.
Or 2. Graben and Yates.
Paul's like, so glad I made that change. How many did you have grabs down for, Paul?
I think Paul had him down for 3.
So that's 2 points and a point for a win.
Well, Paul was telling me that he was in 2 minds when it was 3-0. He wanted Graben to complete the hat-trick, but then that took him off his 3-0 correct score. So what happened? Huddersfield went and scored.
But I also, when we did our initial predictions, did I have a Shithouse Yates goal as well?
Yeah.
I think so. Apparently that's his, did you say, Paul, that's his first non-versus Borough goal of the year?
Yeah, so he'd scored 2 goals before that day. Both had been against Borough.
His one at your place was an absolute worldie as well.
This year?
I wouldn't go that far.
Don't tell Paul that. He was mortified when that went in. We were at that game.
He smashed it in from outside the box.
Well, it's a bit of an exaggeration.
I would give it worldie, just to keep on winding you up, sir.
I see.
So
your face when I said it was like, worldie.
So let's go through some scores. From the Stoke Middlesbrough game, no points for Mr. Williams, no points for Mr. Panas, 2 points for Mr. Cook. That's what you get for believing in the Borough Boys. And as far as the Forest game, Paul Williams just smashing 3 points in one game because he loves all them points. Mr. Panas closely followed by the 2 points and just 1 for me. So for that bit of the week, a 3.
Oh, he's putting up. What does everyone think that's ending off?
And a 3.
In the Forest game? I've not seen it personally.
If you take,
That was right at the end of the game, wasn't it?
if you take the last lot of predictions, the totals, so that's the last podcast games, this podcast games, the total added together, 4, 4 and 4. No winner of the predictions. At this point in time, there is not very long left on this here meeting. So what I'm going to suggest before we start predicting a shit ton of games, I will pause and restart, and we'll get kicking straight off. So we will be right back. And we are back. Right, just the 6 games to predict now. According to my book, and as we all know, the book is law. The first of those 6 games is Nottingham Forest versus Bristol City. My own hometown, obviously. I mean, we should probably just go in order. I've got it here. Paul, why don't you kick us off?
2-0.
To Forest.
Yes, please.
Your goal scorers are...
Graben.
Can't not.
Okay. Times 2.
Sipping down for Sammy.
Amiobi.
Yeah.
Did you didn't respond, Paul, on my Sammy Omiobi substitution time prediction for you at the weekend?
Do you know what? Didn't even see it. Didn't even see it.
As the next person on my list is a Forest supporter, that brings it to me.
But you need to go last because you're a Bristol fan.
Exactly. I like what Paul's laying down there score-wise. I'm also going 2-0. I'm also putting Grabs down. Lolly. Stew.
For no other reason other than that their last results have been 3-1 loss, 2-1 loss. I'm going to go 1-1 draw because then it just makes a 3-2-1. Just because that's my reason for picking it. So I will go 1 each, and I will say Graben for Forest, obviously. And I'll be, much to Andy's delight, picking a Phobe for Bristol.
So, which of the Forest fans is going to go first?
I'll do it.
Go on.
It's clearly a 3-0 home win.
It's absolutely a 3-0 home win. I was actually tempted to take a 3-0 home win on this one.
Matt's not excited by that.
So, is that grab and brace and go on?
No, 1 for Graben. I don't want to be the same, but Amiobi. And I always would like to go for like a bit of an outside one.
Like
I
Harvey?
think. No. Well, do you know what? You've put something in mind there. No, I'm going to go for Bostock.
Okay.
Clever.
Matthew Moore finishes up.
I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
Your goal scorers.
Graben and Wells for Bristol City.
Okay, that finishes us off for our Nottingham Forest and Bristol City game. Now then, battle for the ages coming up next, children. Hull City versus the mighty Borough. So this is going to be a real interesting one. The first person on my list is a Middlesbrough supporter, so he's not going first. James Panas, kick us the F off.
I was going to go 1-0. Well, no, I am going 1-0. But you have to bear with me because I forgot. I knew I thought I was going to score for Hull.
You see, I'm a bit surprised. I'm sorry to cut you off there, James, but you don't have to even give me a goal in the current setup of the podcast because I'm not in the room.
Oh, a loophole! A loophole in the podcast rules.
I've forgotten who my goal scorers were going to be. Just one sec.
Technically,
So,
we're all
that's
in
the
the
problem.
virtual room, though, aren't we? We're all in the room together.
We are.
He's going to give me he'll score one on FIFA as Hull, but as for the real game, who knows?
Hang on.
Can't pick
Well,
Owen anymore.
McGuinness for the Hull goal. I was going to go Harry Kane, but I resisted. It's Harry Kane night.
Yeah.
Who's out? Who do I want to go on Middlesbrough?
Can't go Rudy anymore, can you?
No, disappointed with that one, really.
He's not there anymore.
His contract has run out. He's been allowed to leave.
Oh, yeah. So, again, bit of an outside shot. I'm going to go with Ravel Morrison.
Probably won't even play him. So,
I think he will play him.
well, you are a fool.
I'm next. I'm
He's
next
cool
on the
to
list.
injured. He didn't play. He wasn't in the squad, was he?
He was on the bench. Oh no,
Was he?
sorry, I thought you were still talking Morrison.
Oh no, yeah, no. Coulson. Because Paul was debating whether he'd make the starting lineup. He didn't even make the squad.
Cropped.
Oh, right. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
No one to Borough. Nemecha to score.
Do you know what? I nearly went on the Metro, Andy. Paul,
Wow.
was it?
That guy is absolutely awful.
Yeah, but Paul, you'll be naming 20 awful players in the matchday squad, so one of them's got to score.
Matthew Moore.
Listen, we can't all have a 20-goal a season striker.
I don't think we've got one yet.
I'm going to go 2-1 Middlesbrough.
Your goal scorers.
Is it McGuinness for Hull?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Go on.
a sneaky Fletcher for one of them. An old Brit to get the other.
Right then.
He needs to make his charge for Championship top goal scorer at some point, doesn't he?
Yeah,
As
just like Kenneth Zaha. Kenneth Zaha's going to have 25 goals in his last 7 games for West Brom and fire him to glory.
as the way the book is set up, Paul Williams, give me your Hull versus Middlesbrough score.
I can't can't believe I'm about to say this, but can you put me down for a 3-0 Borough win? Absolutely insane.
Your 3?
Turns out new manager bounce is actually a thing.
I mean,
but how pleased are you about
Stick
that?
me down for Brit
really?
to get 2.
oh,
I mean, like, it is very bittersweet. I mean, obviously a win's a win, but when you get a win with that man in charge, I
The
mean,
thing is, Bob, he needs to narrow.
it is typical Borough. It is literally only Borough that could go from Tony Pulis and within a year be basically managed by the same guy.
Well,
The only
the one
difference
that looks ever so slightly more like one of the Riddlers, but
He'll probably keep you up, but then do you really want him in your... Do you want him to be the future next year?
Well, apparently so I think we discussed this last week, but apparently Woodgate's not gone
No.
altogether. Apparently he's still around. He's still around the club. And there's rumours that he's been put in charge of recruitment, which is, if true, is worrying because his signings were fucking atrocious.
Why don't you just go and talk to his Madrid mates?
Maybe, who knows? We'll wait and see. So I had Brit for 2. Stick me down for Howson to get the other one.
okay. Stuart, what have you got for me?
for the, I'm just going to get this out of the way nice and quickly. I'm going to stand by my solid prediction, even though it's not happened yet. We're going to lose by 2, so stick me down for a 0-2.
And your goal scorers?
I'm going to go 1 Brit and 1 McNair.
That is a real mixed bag of predictions there.
Yeah, there's no, nobody's picked the same.
I feel bad because I don't think I've gone for a casual wingy banger for the last couple of weeks.
There hasn't been a wingy banger for a while.
I see that he didn't start. Was he cropped or just not?
No,
Is he
bit
too
too
player?
flash for old Colin. He's got a little bit of a trick in his locker, so Colin won't like that.
Especially when he gives him half an hour and he picked up a booking as well. That's not going to set well.
Not
is it?
since Middlesbrough Leeds has Lewis had a mention. Right then, we've got Derby versus Nottingham Forest. Because apparently Forest took all this time off playing football and then came back and they were like, let's play some football, shall we? So...
It's like everyone planned this perfectly though. The lunchtime that the UK's pubs open, we've got Derby Forest.
Yeah, it's planned that well.
Let's go with the way the book is set up. So Paul, Derby Forest, go.
1 apiece.
Interesting. Goal scorers.
He's the man for the big occasion, so stick it out for a Rooney.
Okay.
And then a Graben.
Nice and easy. It's me next. 0-1. Grabs. I've actually written grabs. And then we'll have Stu.
I'm going to stick with my draw prediction for Forest's last game, but I'm going to go for a Desmond this time. Stick me down for a 2-2.
2-2. Lot of scorers to pick. Go.
Well, not really, because I'm blatantly going to pick Graben for one of the Forest ones, because You've got to be playing for points in there somewhere.
That's 30 by the end of the season. It's going to be wicked. I've seen how many goals scored by one player since Pierre Van Hooydonk.
Seriously, well, it's just like he's following up on his 60-goal season last season from apparently this podcast. So you know.
Well, for the other one, I will go with old podcast favourite of Lolly for the second. And for Derby, unfortunately, Paul stole the thunder slightly with Rooney because I think that's a solid pick.
So I reckon I'll get dodgy Penner.
And he's been on duty, hasn't he, since he went there. Who could be the other one? Why don't we go for former Hull player on loan for a bit? Chris Martin, is he back there now?
Is he there?
I'm joking. They've got somebody called Martin that plays up front, so it could still be him. I have no idea. But,
it is Chris Martin. I don't know if it's the same one.
Well, not so interesting fact to the wider world, but I have a friend called Chris Martin who is a Derby fan. So just for Chris, I will pick his favourite, absolutely not favourite, player for his own team. So yeah, let's pick Martin for the other one.
Turns out it is him. He's still there.
Is he on a hot streak though, or is he on a bit of a cold play? Way welcome.
Get out.
You know where the door is, don't you?
Get out.
Well, there's a chance he'll get into the team because obviously Tom Lawrence fucked it at the weekend, didn't he?
So, James.
Some kind of inappropriate joke about a car crash or something.
Why don't you?
No, he got sent off after the final whistle like a dickhead, didn't he?
Oh, did he? What a man.
James, why don't you give us yours?
It's exactly the same as Paul's, disappointingly.
1-1.
1-1 with those two goal scorers. Now, see, normally I go for a strong Forest win all the time, but what did disturb me is I think I saw at the weekend that Derby have the best home form in the whole of the Championship.
He has been doing his research, he said.
And finally, Matt.
1-0 to Derby.
Oh, no.
Wow. Goal scorer.
Rooney,
Rooney.
Just because you know he will. I can't. Yeah. They always split the season matches. We won at home. We'll probably lose there. And it's all shaping up for them to jump over the top of us on the last day of the season. And you know, the line that I drew earlier of the constant misery.
They're seeing Fulham turn it round tonight as well.
Oh, have they?
I think I saw they were 2-1 up.
They are. Yeah, 2-1 up.
Leeds still not winning though, which is good. Probably not for you. Not for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all seem to be picking up points down at the bottom end, don't they?
Yeah, but their goal difference is horrendous.
I tell you what though,
minus 27.
If they pulled off the impossible and won tonight, that it's so tight at the bottom.
Well, it's like we said the other day. Up to and sort of including Reading. Not out of it yet.
Still maintain QPR. But
Speaking of QPR, they're going up against Middlesbrough. So let's talk about it. Okay, so the first person on my list is a Middlesbrough fan. So that brings us to James Panas. Kick us off.
I had this also at 1-1.
Okay.
And annoyingly, he got a goal tonight. And I wasn't expecting to get a goal tonight because I'm still going to pick Hugo, but He might have shot his load too early and scored tonight now. But I went on Paul's returning player, theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really don't care who for Borough, if I'm honest.
Wow!
I'll go for the out of the box thinking, and we'll go for MacLeod.
Again, hasn't played the last 2 games. He's injured.
No, he was on the bench at the weekend. I did my research. But maybe he's injured and you just have a shit squad. I don't know.
Wow.
I can't wait until Forest are terrible again. So we can reverse this little dance we're doing.
Well, no, because if you're still terrible, then you won't be able to reverse that either way.
The way it's looking for, we might not be coming up against each other next year anyway. So.
Oh, look at this guy! Check out the massive bollocks on this kid.
We've talked about this before. Our 3 teams collectively could be 3 separate divisions by the way it's going. So
yeah.
It's not going to happen.
That's not convinced at all.
Right. It's me next to pick, and I've gone 2-0 to the Borough. I reckon they're going to hit their stride by this point in time. Roberts and Wing to score.
I like that.
Stew.
I like that.
nice and simple. 1-0 Borough. Do.
I honestly don't know when the last time he scored was.
Well, he's keeping it for the QPR game, obviously.
Clearly, obviously.
Right, Matt.
I've gone 1-0 Borough as well.
Lovely stuff. Goal scorer?
Fletcher.
Nice. Go on, Paul.
Stick me down for a 2-2.
Go on.
I'll have Hugel for QPR and Easy, I think his name is.
Yeah, what a player as well.
For Borough?
For the Borough. I quite like the sound of a Roberts goal because he's not scored for us yet. And stick it down for a Tavernier goal.
When was the last time Borough scored 5 goals in 2 games?
It's all changed. It's all changed now.
Ask me in 48 hours.
I
Confidence.
love how he spends all his time lambasting Colin Wanker for playing Purely Sport, and then he's just predicting goals out of his arse.
They're still on the honeymoon period, though, aren't they?
Exactly.
I mean, by the time the QPR game has been and gone, it'll be close to divorce territory again, won't it? But see how it goes.
Pretty much.
Right, next game on my book is West Brom versus Hull. We can.
Do any research.
Oh my god.
We can almost take this as it reads on the book. So Paul Williams, kick us off.
I'm sorry, Stu.
Don't apologise.
Stick me down for a 4-0 West Brom win.
Apart from the fact that you've stolen my prediction, that's what you can apologise for.
Who are those 4 goals coming from?
Give me 2 seconds to find some West Brom scores.
Not Zaha!
I'm going to have to pick him. He hit the bar on Friday night, so stick me down for Zaha to get 2.
God.
Okay.
I'll also have 1 from Pereira.
That's the obvious choice, isn't it?
Okay.
And Sawyers.
Sawyer, lock. Okay.
You weren't happy with that. Does he know something?
No, I'm just dead surprised that he's gone against his own unspoken rule. Well, not unspoken because he mentions it nearly every podcast.
Returning
You do
goal.
realise- You do realise
Jake Livermore's not a goal scorer.
No, he's not, which is exactly why he'll score against us. He's already done it, I think. From memory, he's already done it as well. So.
Really?
Mm.
I fucking hate Jake Livermore. What a terrible footballer.
He's not the worst player that I've seen. I like Dean Manny will take that title all day long if we're talking about old midfielders.
We got England caps. How the fuck he got England caps? I have no idea. He's fucking woeful.
CC Jordan Henderson.
James Panas.
The list of terrible England players is extensive.
Well, that is true.
Harry Kane, number 1.
In a minute.
But this time you mean actual Harry Kane, not our Harry Kane.
3-1.
3-1.
Oh, he's been nice. He's given him a goal because he's in the virtual room.
I've given him 3. No, I haven't.
Cool.
I'll still say. So I've not planned this one. I'm trying. I'm planning this one. So I'll say McGuinness again. He's got to score sooner or later. Well, one of them, hasn't he? Paul's taken all the players that I normally pick for goals from. Do you know what? Do you remember at one point, Paul, I did pick Hegazi for a goal? Is now the time to go for it again? Probably not.
Charlie Austin was on the bench on Saturday. Friday night didn't come on. Just saying.
Callum Robinson.
I'd forgotten they had him.
He actually looked alright when he played against Forest on opening day. That's all I've got to go on with him. Matty Phillips. And Pereira. I'd have gone Sawyers, but I just want to be different to Paul now. So.
Same for the point.
Right.
Man United just gone 1-0 up.
Oh, what?
Beautiful!
He just likes teams that play in red. We've covered this.
No, I do. Do you know what? I like Man United, and Brighton need to get out of the Premier League. So.
Just sit on the fence, James. That would.
Right, it's me next. I've gone 2-1 to West Brom. Zaha, Pereira, and Eves. The next one's a Stew. So Matt, what have you got?
3-0 West Brom. Charlie Austin brace at 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Pereira.
Stew.
Well, Paul took the 4, and I was going to be different, and then Matt took the 3. I can't do that. So I'm gonna go 2-0 to West Brom.
We want 5. We want 5. We want 5.
Wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Obviously, I've got to pick Livermore based on what I've said. So Livermore will be 1.
Livermore hat trick, you say? Interesting.
Do you know what? If I'd have stuck with 4 or 5, I would have picked own goals amongst it. They are that bad. As we're going to, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll go Robson Canoe for the last one.
Oh God, he's another woeful player who's living off one good thing that he ever did.
Have you not seen us at all recently? And the thought, mate, we could be playing a Sunday League side, they'd still get beat. It doesn't like there's no interest. The span of the team's gone. Just see it off the season. The only thing that I've agreed with is when the Allams tried to get it this season cancelled, but they didn't do that for the same reason that everybody else didn't want Leeds to go up. They did it for purely just to stay in the league. And that happened. So see what happens.
It would have been awful if the season hadn't finished. It's shit to dull football, but it needs to finish.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but
Anything to keep
like,
things down, really.
well, they usually do that of their own accord, but the 2020 being the way it is, you can't rely on normality at the moment, can you? So.
Bollocks, isn't it? It's fucking nonsense.
Oh, Wickenham from. I missed that one.
All that.
Right,
They put a right run together.
let's see if we can knock out the final prediction in 7 minutes. So,
Just incidentally, before we do, I'm just going to clip it. The fact that Paul's baited Andy into thinking Zahore's going to score a goal was incredible from that round of results.
Soz.
fine.
Anyway, continue.
Our final of 6 games in the next few days is Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. Paul Williams, you are to kick us off on this one. Go.
Fulham have just won, haven't they?
Yeah.
As in tonight,
that's
right
a
now.
tough ask. That's a tough game for Forest. Stick me down for 2-2.
Your goal scorers.
Carvalho
Yes.
and some guy, I think his name is Graban.
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, it's Goals.
Right.
90.
And for Fulham,
For Fulham, Mitrovic will still be suspended, won't he?
Yeah, it's his third game suspended. No, second game, yeah.
Is it Cavaliero?
No, fuck off, Paul!
I'm going to go with yes, it is.
Cavaliero and Bobby Reed. Not Bobby Roode, which would have been aired on a different podcast that we'd all do together.
Glorious.
They should do that. Every time he scores, they should play that song.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how well it fits with football, but
Right,
Also, Rattle Company.
I've gone 2-1. I've stolen one of Paul's goal scorers and Grabban and Lolly for the others. Stu.
Which one of Paul's goal scorers did you steal?
Cavaliero.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
So that's what you get for going last, isn't it? Stu.
I've given so far. I've given out 2 draws for Forest, so it would kind of be harsh to do it 3 times. So I'm not going to do it. No, I can't do it. No, I'm going to go 1-0 Forest.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and go for some points and pick a different goal scorer for this game. So let's go Amiobi.
Matt.
1-1.
Goal scorers.
Matty Cash for Forest. And Knockout for Fulham.
Okay.
Well, former Brighton man, wasn't he? I remember him being quite good for them in the Premier League.
James Panas.
Yeah. I put more thought into my goal scorers than my score for this one, if I'm honest. So I'm not really sold on where we are with this one.
Just tot up your goal scorers and then that'll make you predict.
I mean, that's one way of doing it.
Five,
No, but I've changed my mind a bit. You're all gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna go 3-2 to Forest.
3-2. Interesting.
So it's on the basis that I think Forest played better against the bigger teams, But when the teams come on to us, we play on the break. I don't see Forest holding on to like a 1-0 against Fulham. But I think we'll get chances. So 3-2, Andy.
Okay. Goal scorers.
Graben gets 2.
Right.
100. Pelle's 1,000 goals in his career record is gone. Who took it? Lewis Graben took it in the 2019-2020 season.
As my third Forest goal scorer, I go on it again. Having to go on a random one, I go with Walker.
Tyler Walker.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 Fulham.
See, annoyingly, I've got it into my head that my goals are going to be. Am I still there?
Yeah.
He's still
I've got to
there.
go back now. I've got it in my head. I was going to have Calavero and
Calavero, yeah.
and Arthur, because I was like, Arthur was going to be my weird one because I noticed he'd not scored all year, but he fucking scored tonight, which I'm not that happy about. I'll still go Caballero.
Okay.
I don't know now, looking at... You've all taken the ones I wanted. I'm going to have to go for the obvious. Kearney.
Tough tackling, Tom Kearney.
Oh, he's absolutely jacked, that guy. He's built like an entire green bean now. Wow, he was just yet a small pea when he...
Right.
Now.
That's all the games predicted. We've gone to less than a minute left on the meeting. What do you want me to do?
Reset for a bit.
Reset it? Right. I'll pause it and restart. So there'll be a small pause and we'll be right back.
26 minutes. Or 29 or whatever it is.
Right, there we go. Now, normally, there'd be like a betting kind of thing at this point in time, but I mean, what? It's going to be a 6-fold accumulator times 5?
It'd end up being quite convoluted. So if you screenshot it and send it through to me, I'll try my best to put on some form of bets.
I mean, some would say convoluted, some would say just an extra opportunity to make even more money.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah, basically. I might have to drop the usual pound stake to 50p just to make the money go slightly further. But,
prolong the giving it over to the bookie.
yeah, basically.
Leeds are still not winning.
Alright,
Good.
it's half time, not bad.
That's good.
I expect the same text from you, Paul, at about 5:45 on Thursday. So if we're not obviously going to rack up the old betting sitch now, what's the crack then? Are we quizzing or?
I mean,
I think we should talk about the new Premier League champions.
No.
We
Do we
didn't do
have
any this week in football.
Yeah, but do we have to?
yeah, do I?
It seems like a fairly significant thing to mention, Paul.
I don't think it does.
Can we talk about the 19-year-old bellend who fired fireworks at the building? And talk about him instead of the fact that his team won the league for the first time in 30 years, and he just thought, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of vandalism because I'm a mindless idiot. Congratulations.
But surely his choice of replica shirt also denoted that fact as well.
The other thing that happened in football this week, and you all must be aware of it because I don't think anyone picked Wisdom for scoring on Saturday.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. That was bad. Yeah, not good.
Now, do you know what? When I was reading the report though, Paul, definitely out of the midweek game, probably not playing against Forest. got stabbed multiple times.
Yeah, it's strange that, isn't it? Apparently, that you don't bounce back that quickly from stab wounds.
That's the most important thing, though. Not playing on Saturday.
What's happened?
What? He was dropping somebody off, wasn't he?
Got stabbed.
Going to pick a family member up or something. When he turned up to pick him up, he got jumped and robbed and stabbed a bit.
All right.
That's Liverpool for you.
I just thought it was bizarre when I read it that he's definitely out of one game, probably out of 2 games.
Well, maybe even the rest of the season then at this point.
I don't know, unless he got stabbed in the finger or something multiple times. I didn't look
Maybe it was a misprint. Maybe he was doing that game where he puts his hand on the table and does it with a knife.
Fucking hell.
Doing homeschooling and got a compass out.
I realise at this point, guilt is already setting in about the fact that we've just made some jokes about it's just about a man who got stabbed, which is definitely way more serious than what's made out. But yeah, it is awful, especially if he'd gone to pick up a family member. With everything that's probably happening, he might not have seen that family member for a period of time as well, or because he's a professional footballer, probably just did whatever he wanted during the time anyway.
Wisdom is expected to be released from hospital before the weekend. He will certainly miss the clash on Wednesday with Preston, and is likely to be out for the Forest game on Saturday.
Was that from Sky News as opposed to Sky Sports News? somebody who's just been asked to cover it, just not their expertise field. Oh man! But I suppose if you've not already talked about Liverpool, we might have to a little bit. I suppose, as much as it might pain.
No.
Did not mention that.
You were the sympathiser of the group as well when we were texting after it all happened.
No, we have to call him out on that one.
Yeah, you can do.
Just because the hair matches the kit, you don't have to take their side.
Shots most indeed fired. Christ.
Well, no, I do kind of understand where you were coming from though, in the sense of they have played some alright football. Klopp, if he was a manager for any other club, would be absolutely fine. The fact that he's just kind of given us and this is my main beef now. We are never ever in my lifetime, regardless of if they never win it again during that period, gonna hear anything else from Liverpool fans other than I remember that time when we won the Premier League. Yeah. That's just it. It's just gonna be now.
I don't think it will be like that.
What you mean based on previous? Yeah, that never happened for the last 30 years, did it?
Who is this clown? Why do we bother having him on? Who is this guy?
It was like all happened.
I messaged
they were
you guys, didn't
I? Go on, James. Sorry.
I messaged you guys on Sunday or something like that, and obviously it had been the Liverpool toss-off fest for 48 hours, and they were just they were at the point of scraping the barrel. So the show that I had the misfortune of listening to was the matches that formed the Liverpool Championship. So they'd gone through, when I turned on, it was the 7th match, to which they'd gone through how it had made a player or brought a manager in or a coach or something like that. And it was the most self-congratulatory pile of horseshit I've ever had to listen to. And the crowning glory was, one of them, I think it was a Liverpool fanzine writer or something like that, claimed Andy Robinson, or the left back, Robertson, as their own. I'm like, he's Scotland captain, you prick. And it was just
there's been a lot of pictures on the internet of that, when there's that picture of Robertson and Van Dijk tackling each other in Scotland, next to Robertson and Van Dijk celebrating at whatever that bar was they were at on Thursday night. come in like however long it is, 6 years, is it, or something? I don't know.
No, it's just going to be no fun at all now. I'm just.
Well, just forget about this, the fan side of things. They're a damn good team. Deserve to win the Premier League.
But what really got me was that, again, with all the trumpet blowing that was going on, was that I think it was Sky Sports that pulled the headline of the most trophy-laden team in England. Oh, really? Because they're really shy about talking about that sort of shit normally as well. Like, just shut up. Just go away. Just go away. Pay for Sky Sports. Surely I should have some say in actually what, it goes towards. They can have my money for the subscription, just don't give any of it to Liverpool.
The most unbearable thing about it is going to be is when Man United kind of turn the corner, and then we've got to listen to them talk about, years in the doldrums, and you're like, you've been winning stuff. And it's like, that's the thing, that the full act. I know that they haven't won the league in 30 years, but it's not like they haven't won anything. And it's not like they haven't been successful. But you have to hear how it's been such a terrible time for the city, and nothing's better than when Liverpool are good. You've been good. You've won the European Cup twice in the last 10 years. It's unbearable. Support a club that doesn't win anything or hasn't won anything in a long time. And I think it's the crowing. It's the absolute relentless crowing.
I always maintain that because Borough don't win anything.
Is that the end?
Is that the end of that?
I always maintain that Borough winning the. Bloody hell.
Going on.
I think he might have had a stroke. That might be what's happened.
His last two sentences have been like Middlesbrough winning nothing.
And I can only presume that is for whatever substances he's on, if you check the thumbnail from the last podcast, which is just... Paul decides to reveal to the world that he is into some seriously heavy shit.
Luton are winning.
Thanks, James.
I get such a bad rap on the podcast.
That was the thing I was going to ask. It's Stoke are pulling away a little bit now, but if Stoke go down and Luton go down, what's the name of the guy who's Luton manager? Is it Nathan Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Do we technically give him a double relegation? He managed to drag 2 teams down. That'd be marvellous. The team he started the season with.
Mark Hughes wouldn't have done it because he was at Stoke the season they got relegated, and then he went to Southampton, didn't he? And Southampton just stayed up. It would have been a case that he'd have got 2 teams relegated in one season.
Who's the other one that's like that? Obviously the reverse Nathan Jones, which is the manages to jump ship just before they get relegated. So I've never been relegated. Like, the teams that you managed that season went down.
Pulis is like that. So Pulis has never been relegated, but I think he's been in charge of teams that have gone on to be relegated.
Surely the exact opposite would have been like Billy Davis, who jumped ship after they've got promoted.
Yeah.
I
mean,
still to this day, years old, makes no sense.
Bless Billy. Nobody really knows what's going on in that brain. He's a very self-congratulatory human being. He will listen to anybody. He will listen to and talk to anybody who wants to be told how good he is.
I like Billy Davis. I thought he was alright.
Oh, what a shocker!
I think as a media type kind of
football manager, I think he's fine. I think behind the scenes he's a bit of a see you next Tuesday. If you don't get on with you, he bans you, which is the big problem that was going on at Forest. I think he was banning the Evening Post, the Forest, like the Nottingham papers. A lot of people banned from there, and he was banning people left, right, and centre. And he was just running roughshod through the club. He was trying to run it like Clough would, but you've got to be Brian Clough if you want to run a club like Brian Clough. There's not many people who get to do it that way.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
That's the only two I can think. They're so ingrained in.
Because some people go, "Oh, well, Arsene Wenger." He wasn't a twat to people. Yeah, he was quite a personable.
No, and I don't think he ran the club to the extent that the other two did.
Oh yeah.
Wenger got his lines from above, or his script from above, of what he had to do, though, didn't he?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, the years just after they moved to the Emirates, they were basically told, "Don't spend any fucking money
and maintain top four."
Yeah.
Don't risk losing the top four to go for a trophy. Just keep hitting the Champions League money.
Yeah.
Looks like, actually talking about Arsenal, looks like not even going to be getting Europa League money this year.
Yeah.
Unless you're dancing for a cup run, but.
Well, I suppose they could win either, or they could win the FA Cup. I was going to say they could win the Europa League, but I'd forgotten that they shit the bed against Olympiacos, didn't they? So.
Is the Europa League like the Champions League? Does that just come back and get done in one city afterwards? After everything else?
I think so. They're doing it in Lisbon, aren't they?
That's the Champions League in Lisbon, isn't it?
I think they're saying they're going to do it in August. Yeah.
Are you wanting to
Ronaldo to have his
yes, I've got some odds for you, Andy.
Oh, okay. Let me make a note.
What's that then?
Wait, I'm reading for Paul. We're reading the odds.
I don't even remember.
Right, okay, my internet's been shit as always. Right, so
I told you what to stop doing. I messaged you before.
How have you broken it down?
So, I've done it with I've basically tried to do it sort of like blocks at a time. So I've done the Borough, Hull, and the Forest Bristol City game as a block.
Okay.
And then I've done the Derby Forest, Borough QPR, West Brom Hull games as a block. And I can't yet put on the bets for the Forest Fulham game because they're not on the website.
Okay.
So, if I'm able to, I'll try and tie them in before the games. I'll get them on before the game starts, but I'll sort it out. So, if my Forest 2-0 against Bristol City and Borough 3-0 comes in, I will get back £99.75.
Okay.
If James gets 3-0 Forest, 1-1 Hull Borough, he will get £57.
Is this for a 50p bet?
These are all 50p stakes. Because let's put it this way, I'd have fucking run out of cash if I had done this. So, Andy, if you get 2-0 Forest and 1-0 Borough, you will get £33.25.
Wow.
If Stu gets 1-1 Forest Bristol City and 2-0 Borough, he will get £30. If Matt gets 1-1 Forest Bristol City and 2-1 Borough, he will get £28.50.
Wow. So they actually think we're more likely to score a goal. Weird.
Though that money just goes in a descending order. It just gets smaller each time.
Didn't even notice that.
Then
I think
next
odds
one.
on Bradford
We come to
scoring
my-
goals this season.
Should have done that really. then we go to my Derby Forest draw, Borough QPR draw, West Brom 4-0. I will get back £675. If James gets Derby Forest draw, Borough QPR draw, West Brom 3-1, he will get back £198.
Solid.
If Andy gets Forest 1-0, Borough 2-0, West Brom 2-1, he will win £403.75.
I like that.
If Stu gets Derby Forest 2-2, Middlesbrough 1-0, West Brom 2-0, he will win £341.25. And to finish it off nicely, Matthew Moore with his Derby 1-0, Borough 1-0, West Brom 3-0, he will win £252.
I was just dying for you to go, he will get his 50 pence back.
I forgot what Paul's was, but this is unreal for me. Did I have the lowest odds?
Think so.
Yeah.
That's not normal for me.
Of that particular run of games, you had the least. You had the lowest amount, yeah.
Wow.
Made up for it for your first one, James.
Like I say, I'll see what's going on with the other games for the Fulham game. If I can get them on before, then I will do.
Wonderful
Technically,
stuff.
that's next Tuesday.
It is.
Yeah.
So in theory, it's a 5 PM.
Yeah.
That's why I said we won't be doing a podcast before it.
Yeah, when I was looking at it.
I could try and tie in whatever the Borough game is later on that week.
Can you imagine if that is the game that you would have won some money on as well? Like if the betting had gone that far, or if you do get to put one on, it might not have finished quite if you started early. Maybe you'd be like,
maybe
that'd be quite fun.
Shirts off.
We'll see.
Well, there we go. That's predictions in. Money in the bank. Wait, no, that's a different podcast. Bets in.
Have we just did we actually discuss Liverpool whilst I was looking at the bets, or?
Well, we shot them down for plenty, but like I say, if we're going to do it,
We kind of danced around it and kind of made various insults and thinly veiled kind of suggestions about.
James was suggesting how good of a side they've been, and like really can't argue with the football. But as we've said, it's the baggage it carries that's the issue.
It's more they play good football, but I was talking to Lewis about this quite a lot the other day. Like it's Klopp though, isn't it? Because when you look at that squad on paper, it's not like other people's squads, with the exception of, you could argue, Van Dijk's being the top 2 centre-backs in the world, but I still think he's a bit behind. And a lot of people would argue that Robertson's... I don't know if he's like one of the top 2 centre-backs in the world, Bob.
I don't even think it's up for debate. He's not even in the top 2. He is the best centre-half in football. I don't even think it's up for debate.
Do you think?
He's so strong, he's good with his head, he's just so comfortable on the ball that I just don't think there's a centre-half better than him. Who would you say is a better centre-half?
David Luiz, surely.
Do you see that on the internet, that he's just a clown, did all them fuck-ups, and 2 days later, have a new contract? You're amazing.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
My kind of, maybe it's a little bit of like sour grapes and refusing to accept it, but they've looked out on it's a bit. I'm going to stick the knife in as well, in Leicester as well, because take 2 down at the same time. It's a bit like the year that Leicester won. That it was a year where Man City have been poor this year. They've had a bit of a transition year. Some players have moved out. They haven't properly replaced them. obviously Man United are still going through kind of what they're going through, and then you've got the North London pretenders, both Tottenham and Arsenal, not really kind of Tottenham have been poor this year, and I think there's that element of they've won it by quite a way, but the people that would normally contend and rival them have been poor. And I think the Premier League's poor this year. I think from that kind of, even if you go Liverpool, Man City are at the top two, then you've perhaps got the cluster of 3 or 4 with Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Newcastle. Yeah.
He couldn't even keep a straight face when he started that, could he?
But then the rest, I think the rest of the league is quite poor this year. I was, from what I've watched, and even I know the restart's not really anything to judge by, but there's some really, really bad teams, and then there's just bad teams, and then there's it's that kind of, whoever qualifies for Europe, it's going to be one of them embarrassing seasons where they're talking about everybody being knocked out by Christmas.
Well, they always said, didn't they, that the gap between the conference and the league and the bottom of League 2 was getting so close, where all those teams were basically about the same as each other, and it's almost got that way now with the Championship and the bottom of the Premier League. You'd argue that the bottom 10 teams in the Premier League, you could swap up with the top 10 teams in the Championship, and you wouldn't notice that much difference, because they're all about the same, really. The only difference is obviously the money that the Premier League teams get.
I was going to say, the only thing I'd say about that is the fact that you can see the difference by the fact that, I don't know who's in the bottom 3 at the moment.
Well, Norwich pissed the Championship last year, and have got absolutely battered this year in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, I think I messaged Stuart Hall. I watched them against Liverpool first game of the season, and I was like, oh my god, they're going down. There's just no way.
It's just a bit naive. They play open football and try to just do it from day one in the Premier League, and you come up against Liverpool.
You're going to get cut to bits against a team that's ruthless and that take their chances. You are going to get beat 4, 5, 6 every week.
Looking at their squad, because they have quite a low wage bill and quite a low squad value if you look into it. I think the only way they were going to stay up is if Pookie continued that incredible bit of form he had. Which was never going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you didn't think he was even going to get that level of form, because I remember you being particularly pissed off when he kept doing it.
Which is because, so I've not seen him, but I remember that Celtic had signed him. And obviously when he played at Celtic, he was absolutely woeful. He was terrible at Celtic. So when Norwich got him, I was like, well, that's a fucking joke. If he can't do it in Scotland against League 1 level teams, what chance is he going to have against a half decent Championship team? And then he just tore him to fucking pieces. But he's the epitome of a one-season wonder for me. Everything just went right for him last season. And then he had that little bit of a sort of a purple patch at the start of the year. I mean, he's got to get. He's got actually against Newcastle. Well done, mate. That's it. And then he's been found out. But yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? With the Championship teams, like I say, you can have a Championship team that goes on a run and does wins 10, 15 games on the bounce, gets promoted, and then just gets absolutely tonked each week.
I don't know what they could have done much different though. Don't even get me started on Sheffield United, Paul.
They'll be one of the favourites to go down next season, because they won't be able to recreate, because they won't have that.
What, Sheffield United?
Yeah, but the reason why they've done so well this season is because they're playing a system that no one in the Premier League had seen before, so they didn't know how to set up against it. Now people have seen it, they know how to play against it, and next season they'll be fucked.
Well, that's
exactly what happened when we went up years ago. They were playing stuff that, again, nobody knew how to set up, but then they got as far as, I think, maybe back end of January, and teams had started to suss it out by then, and it was oh, look how well they've done. first half, and then it was a constant decline from there all the way through to the end of the following season when they went down.
You watch the decline of Sheffield United this year. They've got no squad depth whatsoever, which is something they've had for years. Even that's like why they've had so many failed promotion bids, because the end of the season they just haven't got the legs for it. You look at them like they come out of lockdown now; they just look awful. Those 2 games, like they basically built their, like you say, they've got a certain style of play, but they've got an incredible defence, and they've just shipped goals. They just look. And I can't see them picking up virtually any points from here on in.
Like I said,
which is good.
They'll be amongst the favourites to go down next season because unless Wilder can get them playing a completely different style of football, which is probably unlikely because obviously that's his strength, he's playing the system he plays. But once people have worked it out, it's very hard to keep people guessing as to what you're going to do.
It's recruiting players, I think. It's recruiting players to your team as well. I think that's the big thing. You've got to have the money to spend. You've got to be willing to spend the money. And I just think, our players going to go and play for Sheffield United. The manager's not particularly famous. The ground's not particularly fancy. Same kind of goes for Norwich as well. Are they going to be able to get, and even then though, some clubs go out and buy 10 players. And they still go down. Like, look at.
That's what I was going to say earlier, Matt. That everyone shit on Fulham when they spent 100 million to try and stay in the Premier League and wrecked the Championship winning team. If Norwich had done that, everyone would have gone, "Well, you fucked it. You should have kept your team together." They kept the team together, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah. You've got to
about having a team where. Go on. Sorry, Matt.
It's a bit like someone who runs a 100-metre race and they sprint for 300 metres, then cling on to grim death at the end. It's kind of what you've got to do. You kind of got to get yourself to 34 points by Christmas, and then hope to fucking God that you pick up another 6 or 7 to keep you up in the league. And I think that's the problem.
That's exactly how Hull stayed up that first year in the Premiership, wasn't it? Because they front-loaded the first half of the season so much that didn't they go on a runner, losing about 12 on the spin or something like that after Christmas? They picked up I think they picked up 1 point in about 15 games or something like that, and they were literally they stayed up by the skin of their teeth because Newcastle couldn't beat Villa on the last day of the season.
Yeah, and that's when the infamous Phil Brown karaoke session happened. But I think regardless of that happening to us, I think. Is it not what's commonly now known as a Burnley or an Everton? It's they get to that point where they're safe and they just think, nah, sod it now, we're done.
The best example of that was West Brom a couple of seasons ago, because it was when Pulis was in charge, and they'd obviously their main aim every season was get to 40 points, get to 40 points, get to 40 points. And I think they got to 42 points by February or something like that, and it was a case of, so you can push on now and you'll go for your highest ever finish. You've never finished higher than 12th or something, have you? It was we'll crack on and do that. And then because they got to 40 points, foot came off the gas, and they just coasted for the rest of the season.
I know this might not go down so well in some circles, but one Premier League side that have sort of surprised me more than any other, particularly this season, is Wolves. I think they're dead underrated.
I didn't think that I didn't think they'd be as good as they have been, but there was definitely seeds there when they went up to the Championship. Because when they signed Neves, he was clearly better than the Championship, and they'd obviously bought him with the future in mind. And they've sort of got it right. They got it right from stage one when they appointed the manager, because the idea was, don't appoint the manager you want for now, appoint the manager you want in 2-3 seasons' time with the squad that you want in 2-3 seasons' time. So, and
I just feel like
done it right.
They've just got on with it. They've gone quietly about it. They've not exactly set the world on fire, but they're just sort of they're not there on luck either. They've put some solid results in. So
they'd be there's always people sort of looking for that next club that's going to break into the top 4, top 5, whatever you want to class it as now. I think they'd be mine, and pretty much everyone else's pick as the next team that's going to sort of try and crack that top 4 or 5. Because if you think about it, they're probably at the point now where Spurs were 6 years ago, sort of on that cusp of being able to break into the top four. If they can finish out the rest of the season strongly and sort of like sneak into that 5th Champions League space, then
personally, I think I think if you asked any of the Newcastle fans, they'd say it was them. But they're also winning the league next season.
Yeah, but don't worry, because as soon as Leeds go up, all the fans will be saying Champions League in 2 seasons. So
They'll just win the league the next year.
He's so upset about it already.
It's the thought of the unbearable.
But we've got what we've
Would
got
you
left
not
after
rather
that.
have Leeds in the Premier League than fucking Brighton or Bournemouth?
No, I want them to suffer and be miserable and twist all the time.
Have you ever met a Brighton fan where you thought, what an absolute... Well, I bet you've met a few Leeds fans like that.
Yeah, but I've never met a Brighton fan at all.
you will have done.
Maybe without
news
even
is
knowing.
Panas.
But
Well, gentlemen, that is time at the bar once again. As we have had a amalgamation of the Getting Over boys and the You Can't See the Forest for the Tees boys, we've predicted both, well, not even both, all Forest, Middlesbrough and Hull games. Obviously, we'll have to extend the invitation to Matt and Stu for the next instalment of You Can't See the Forest for the Tees, which I believe will be this time next week, to see who managed to predict correctly and who will be spending huge amounts of cash on, I presume, Cookie Cast football shirts. Yeah, that's the plan for the next one. It's a nice t-shirt you got there, Stu.
Available at all good Cookie Cast stores nationwide, right?
That is absolutely true. Look out for the hats coming in the future.
I'll be getting this.
Look at this guy.
it is good. Do you know what, Paul? I've had a Inter Milan top in the past before.
It does look like it's been run over by a big truck.
It's got to be sponsored by a tyre company, because that's exactly what it looks like.
Looks like it's been run over by a big truck.
Do you know what? It is something to go away and find out, Paul. Is there a longer sponsorship deal than that Pirelli Inter sponsorship deal currently in football?
Because that must be mid-90s.
I had an Inter top around like 94, 95, and it was Pirelli.
Yeah.
Something to ponder for next time.
There's a cliffhanger for you.
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
Absolute cliffhanger. You boys go away and find out, and we'll find out the answer next time. Thank you all very much for joining me, for joining these guys, for joining you guys, for joining in. And we will see you next week. Thank you, boys.
Bye.
So there we go. What do you think to that? Another one done. A big bumper edition of You Can't See the Forest for the Tees. Isn't that nice? Thanks to everybody who joined me for that one. Sometimes it's a lot to get people together. Sometimes it's easy. So, still big thanks to everyone for joining me. YouTube watchers, do subscribe. Be a love. You know it's the right thing to do. And everybody else, jump over to thecookiecast.com. Check us out over there. Send social media, email, love of any variety you want to send. That'd be cool. So there we go. That's this one done. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.